roads overnight. Details coming up.
Receiving evacuation alerts on your phone during a fire. How do you know when to leave? I'm working for you on ways to ensure you have the information you need to stay safe.
Around 500 U.S. Marines and sailors arrive at the U.S.-Mexico border.
I'm Jenny Day, and I'll take you inside an emotional courtroom where a drunk driver was just given the maximum sentence for hitting and killing a beloved bartender.
From Aaron Rodgers to Drew Brees, the small but powerful gym filled with fitness fame.
CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
As we come on the air tonight, hundreds of firefighters are still working to gain control of the Border 2 fire, which has exploded in size in the Otay Mountain wilderness since it started yesterday. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. Tonight we've learned State Route 94 is now closed at State Route 188 as that fire continues to burn. Here's the very latest on that fire. It has burned more than 5,300 acres and is just 10% contained. Evacuation orders are in effect for some remote communities, and people living south of the Hamul Indian Village are being urged to prepare to leave on short notice.
Several schools were closed today due to poor air quality from the fire. And tonight we have team coverage. CBS 8's Alex Cheney is in tonight for Carlene, tracking the conditions heading into the weekend.
But we begin tonight with CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes, who is live not far from the Hamul Casino with the very latest on the firefight. Good evening, Kirsten.
Good evening. I'm here off the 94 and Daly Ranch Truck Trail because this is CAL FIRE's Incident Command Center. This is where the more than 700 firefighters who are working on the Border 2 fire come for a break, to get some water, to use the restroom, and maybe get something to eat before they go back out there to the front lines. And we talked to people today who say that they were evacuated at 3 a.m. this morning because this fire exploded overnight.
Yesterday, everybody says, you know, be prepared, but it's no big deal. And then all of a sudden we get knocking on the door at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to go.
Teresa Bach says her family lives on wheels at the Pio Pico campground, and right now they're just thankful that they're safe. Her daughter Melanie says this isn't easy.
It's just been horrible having to pack up and not being able to go to work, and the kids being stressed out, and the dog. This is Southern California. Like, the drop of anything could set a fire, and I just feel like being better prepared, and I don't know, it just sucks.
We got here about 5 a.m. The residents had to evacuate. They got word between 3 and 4 a.m., so we got here as quickly as we could.
The Border 2 fire exploded in size overnight, going from just a few hundred acres to more than 5,000, forcing evacuations in the overnight hours. Amy Newell with the Red Cross says they're doing what they can to help.
Some folks had to leave behind their trailers. They either didn't have enough power to get them down here, didn't have a truck to tow them down, so they are a little concerned.
Robert Johnson with CAL FIRE says more than 700 firefighters are working to contain the blaze from the ground and the air as evacuation orders and warnings grow.
The majority of the orders is going to be south of Otay Lakes Road, and north of Otay Lakes Road will be the warning. And then on the east side of the city of Chula Vista, there's also warnings in place.
CAL FIRE says stay ready to evacuate at a moment's notice. And they say you can stay connected with the latest information with an app.
The best way for residents to monitor that is to download and utilize the Genesis Protect app. That's going to have real-time information on evacuation orders and warnings. It's also going to list any road closures, and it also is going to let the residents know as soon as possible when the repopulation starts.
Okay, so I want to go over those road closures again for you. State Route 94 westbound is closed, so is State Route 188. And some new evacuation orders are in place. I just want to go over those again. Dulzura, Honey Springs, and Engineer Springs, those areas are the latest to have to evacuate. If you download that Genesis Protects app, you can stay up to date with the latest and go to our website, CBS8.com, where we've posted links so that you can stay in the know. Reporting for CBS 8, I'm Kirsten Holmes. Back to you.
Thanks, Kirsten. Firefighters made quick work of a brush fire that caused some traffic issues this morning near the 52 and 805 interchange. It began around 6:30 and put up huge plumes of smoke. Nearly 50 first responders attacked that fire. They were able to limit to only a half acre. Within an hour, that fire was under control. And the good news for firefighters right now is that the winds are dying down, and there is, believe it or not, some rain in the forecast.
And it's been a long time since we've seen rain. CBS 8's Alex Chady is in tonight for Carlene with more on what we can expect as we head into the weekend.
Rain and snow.
Okay.
Big changes, massive changes. It sounds great, doesn't it? Big changes are coming to the weather pattern here over about the next week or so, but especially this weekend. Still dry today. Some spots that humidity down into the single digits. Just 1% in Julian right now. That's as low as it goes. You can't have 0% humidity. Let's take a look outside. This is the tail end of what was a beautiful sunset in San Diego, where it's currently about 58 degrees outside. Humidity at 23%. Speaking of rain and snow, there's going to be a winter weather advisory. Haven't heard of that one in a little while. Coming up here Saturday afternoon, and still to come the full forecast. I'm going to tell you when to expect the rain, when to expect the snow, and just how much. Hint, several inches of snow on the way.
We'll take it.
Yes.
Bring it on.
And remember, for the very latest weather conditions and alerts on the go, you can download our free CBS 8 app from Google Play or the App Store. With the recent fires, you may have gotten alerts on your phone telling you to evacuate.
But we learned that some people living in evacuation areas recently did not get the warnings. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is working for you to explain why and to let you know what you need to do to make sure that you get the information you need to stay safe.
This neighborhood in La Jolla was under an evacuation order yesterday when a fire broke out in the brush below. We heard from a viewer who said she never got an alert telling her to leave, so I reached out to county leaders to find out what San Diegans need to do to ensure they're getting that type of information.
Over the past few weeks, fires have been popping up all over San Diego County. That's led to evacuation warnings and orders which people impacted should be receiving on their phones, but not always. Here's why. For starters, it could be because you don't have an emergency alert app installed. While there are several, a spokesperson with the County of San Diego, as well as San Diego Fire's Assistant Chief of Operations, Dan Eddy, told me Genesis Protect is the one they want people to use.
This is a new statewide system that is being used across the way that you can download that app and you can sign up for alerts on it or anything else.
So what if you don't have a Genesis Protect app or any other to receive alerts? During fires, local agencies will also send alerts via cell phone towers, which will identify people within the evacuation zone.
We do what's called a WIA. So a WIA alert is it pings the cell tower and we can pick the radius that it goes around. So anyone that's within that, we can do half mile, 2 miles within that radius of where we put our pin drop, basically. You will all get an alert on your phone. So as we were sitting yesterday on the La Jolla fire, my phone must have gone off 10 times as I'm sitting there because they kept sending out a WIA alert through there. The only difference will be is that the WIA alert comes a little bit after the Genesis alert.
If your home is in an evacuation zone, but you're someplace else, for example, at work with your cell phone, you won't get that alert. Finally, what if you don't have a smartphone or any cell phone at all?
We still have boots on the ground, and police officers are going to doors, sheriffs are still banging door to doors, and so we're doing everything we can to ensure that everybody gets out.
Again, there are other apps that will send out alerts and updated information, but county leaders suggest Genesis Protect, a company they contract with. They also say the SD Emergency app is a good resource. For more information, including links to those apps, just log on to CBS8.com and click on this story. Working for you, I'm Shannon Handy for CBS 8.
Thank you, Shannon. And remember, if there is something you would like us to look into, you can email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com.
The president's border security pledge is in full effect today as U.S. military troops are stationed in Imperial Beach and at the Brownfield Airport in Otay Mesa.
CBS 8's Abby Black reached out to the military to try and find out more about their mission.
U.S. Marine Expeditionary Force confirms with CBS 8 the military convoy that arrived here at Brownfield Airport in Otay Mesa is carrying out presidential border protection orders. We got our first look this morning. U.S. Marine convoys with armored vehicles and equipment were strategically positioned at the Border Patrol Station in Imperial Beach. Camp Pendleton confirmed to CBS 8 that these Marines and sailors represent an initial deployment of 500 personnel aimed at immediately augmenting military forces along the southern border. After President Trump took the oath on Monday, he vowed to reinstate his Remain in Mexico policy. That requires asylum seekers to stay across the border until their immigration court date.
I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
Today marks a significant military deployment in response to ongoing border security concerns. We saw the convoy leave the Border Patrol station and arrive at Border Field. There we observed military aircraft, including Ospreys and helicopters, land and take off. Chopper 8 also captured additional U.S. troops deploying at the Border Patrol station. U.S. Northern Command directed these Marines to execute specific border security missions. The military declined to discuss mission specifics. Now this week, Customs and Border Protection also temporarily suspended the immigration appointment application. In Otay Mesa, Abby Black, CBS 8.
Thanks, Abby. Tonight, we're learning State Attorney General Rob Bonta met with immigrant rights groups and elected officials here in San Diego. It was the 5th and final meeting throughout the state where Bonta shared resources to let immigrants know their rights under the law. Those resources are available in multiple languages on the Attorney General's website. Bonta also warned of several scams targeting immigrants, advising them not to give money or personal information to anyone who calls, texts, or emails them.
An effort to make California its own country, that is still ahead.
Plus, an emotional day in court as a man with 2 DUI convictions faces the loved ones of his victims as he learned his sentence.
And the latest on the large wildfire burning right now north of Los Angeles when we come back.